Good morning. It's such an honor to have everybody here, especially everybody that joins us on the other side of that computer screen online. It's great to have you with us. We're still talking about friendships. For the last 2 weeks, I've told everybody, if you show me your friendships, I'll show you your future. It's based on Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 20. It says, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. If you want an outline, there's some in the back there. You go wherever you kind of want the outlines. It's front and back. It's got all the answers in there, so you can be really smart. And everybody else can follow along. But what this actually means is this: if you hang around with people who are positive, who have a faith-filled life, that just like to pray and study God's Word. And they like to go out and to serve people, to serve their community, to do that with others, to share life together. When you hang around with people like that, you're going to become like those people. Mom is right. She says you're going to become like the people that you hang with. But on the other hand, if you hang around with some people that, they're negative and they have bad attitudes and they're really critical, then you're going to become more like them. And you see that in our society more and more every day. That we're becoming more critical, that we're changing. Yet we are a blessed society. We are a blessed people. We are blessed physically, spiritually, materially. And yet we're friendship impoverished. We still experience this friendship impoverished. It's partly because we're very, very independent people. America is filled with independent people. We love to teach our children to be independent. That's what we like to do. It starts as soon as they're born. As soon as they can learn to walk and talk, we want them to start to be independent. And that continues on in our lives. We want to be dependent. I don't want to be dependent on anybody. I want to do it all myself. I have to do it all myself. I don't want to be dependent on you. I don't want to be a burden to you. But we forget that that's a non-Christian perspective. That's actually non-Christian. God created us as His creatures to rely on Him, to come to His people, to His community of believers, to have friendships there, community there, to have support. Jesus dies for us. He loves us. He loves the church. And in the church is where we serve one another, where we lift up one another, where we build up one another, where we serve one another and serve the community around us. So why are we still friendship impoverished? I'm going to tell you that I think there's 3 causes of friendship impoverished. 3 things that happen in our society that really contribute to this friendship impoverished. And the first one has to do with increased mobility. On average, Americans will move every 5 years. If you're between the ages of 20 and 40, on average, you'll move every 3 years. It's very hard to have deep friendships. It's very hard to have any kind of open, honest, truthful relationship where you can be vulnerable with somebody and have a strong relationship, a strong friendship because of that vulnerability when you're always on the move. It takes time to build friendships that go deep. And then there's the second reason. It's called modern conveniences. I got a friend down in Florida several months ago. We were talking, and his name is Bill. And Bill says to me, he says, our community is changing, and things are changing all around us. And I said, what's the cause of that? And he says, without a doubt. I wish I could have seen him face to face. He says, air conditioning. And I'm thinking to myself, that's the strangest thing I've ever heard. Air conditioning? And then it really makes sense. Because the air conditioning has changed everything. This modern convenience has changed everything. You see, before air conditioning, you would come out and you would sit on your front porch because it was cooler outside the house than it was inside the house. And you'd have your mint jubilee. And you'd see your friends walking by and you could share a mint jubilee with them. Come and invite them up on the porch. Or you could be vice versa. You could be the ones that are out walking in your community. You would know your neighbors. You would know your friends. And they would know you. You would know your community. And it would know you. And he went on to say that there's other things that have changed, that modern conveniences have changed. He says that, he told me, he said, you know what else has changed? He says, party lines. We've all gone to private phone lines. He says, it used to be you picked up the phone and sometimes you could make it to a call, but there might be a conversation on there. You knew who was hurt in the community because you understood exactly who you had to go and minister to because you knew who was on the same party line as you. Private lines changed all that. Can't do that anymore. And he says there's another thing too, another modern convenience that really contributed to this. And he says, it's answering machines. I'm like, answering machines? He said, yeah. He says, before when the phone would ring, you picked it up and you find out who was on the other line by answering the phone. He says, now with answering machines, you don't have to do that. You can actually screen your calls. You can actually screen your friendships and kind of limit those friendships. And I thought, wow. He says, by the way, you can also screen those terrible telemarketers and those political calls that are coming up really soon too. And then there's this third thing that he talked about. He says, it's the rise in social media. And this is one I want to quote. Because as I was looking online, I was talking about this and this rise of social media. And one of the authors had to say, and he put it this way, and I thought it was really good. It was worth quoting. I've got to find it here in my. It says, social media is creating an epidemic of deferred loneliness. An epidemic of deferred loneliness. I thought to myself, wow. And what he means is this. Is that when we feel lonely, you can just go to Facebook, send something out. You can tweet a little blog out there. You could actually upload a picture on Instagram, and almost instantaneously, you'll get a response. But the loneliness comes back. It only lasts for a little while. Social media is not the same as being face-to-face. It's not the same kind of relationship. It's not the same kind of friendship. I can't reach out and touch that person. I can't pray with them. I can't help them find strength in the Lord. I can't sit there and cry with them or weep with them. All those things take somebody to be there physically present. And you only have that when you have deep friendships, when you're face-to-face. Social media just no substitute for the real community. We talked about last week about those three kinds of friendships. And if you could have three kinds of friendships, there were three that I mentioned. And one is the first kind is, we model them after friends of King David. The first one was Samuel. Because he's a friend that comes in that makes us better. And then there's Jonathan, who's that friend that helps us find spiritual strength in the Lord. And then if you had to get just to choose any of these three friendships, it'd be this third one. And that's the friendships that are truthful. The ones that will be truthful to you no matter what, like Nathan was. And so, we're friendship impoverished. We're still impoverished, and yet we realize that something is missing. And I said last week that it might be someone that's missing, but now it might be a group of someones that's missing. You might be just one community away from changing the course of your destiny. Just one community. One community away from changing the course of your destiny. And Good Shepherd was that kind of community that changed the course and the destiny of many people, of their lives. If you looked at the history of Good Shepherd, of what it has done in 47 years, it has gone and sent missionaries to Haiti. It started a church in Haiti. It's got a school in Haiti. It supports an orphanage in Haiti. It sends money down there to support the pastor. It sends money down there to support the people in Haiti with food. We've rebuilt houses with Habitat for Humanity right here in this area. We've rebuilt other people's houses that's not part of Habitat. We've repaired roofs. We've done all kinds of railways, walking, stairs. We've painted homes. We've cleaned homes. We've done all kinds of things in the past. We have sat there and provided food for the people down in Pontiac at St. Paul's through the Father's hands. We just sent 370 individual food items out this week. We support Fish. We support Love Inc., where we have people that need help to put tires on a car or a van, or they need help with medical bills or with utility bills, or just to put food on the table. And through Love Inc., we provide that. That's the kind of community that's a direct reflection of Acts chapter 2, verses 42 to 46. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teachings and to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. In other words, they were focused on Jesus. He's the focus of their central community. Everything is built in and on Jesus. It's not about sports. It's not about games. It's not about anything else. It's all about Jesus. That's what it was built on. That's what the first century church was like. They go on in there that everyone was filled with awe at the many wonders and signs that were performed by the apostles. All of the believers were together, and they had everything in common. They sold property and possessions just to give anyone who had need. And every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes, and they ate together with glad and sincere hearts. That's a picture of what Good Shepherd was. That was a community. I'd say, count me into that community. I want to be part of that community. And that community can exist again. It can happen again. You could be just one community away from changing the course of your destiny. We could be that community again. We can be another reflection of what we see right there in Acts chapter 2. In these few verses, Good Shepherd could be that once again. And it will be once again. But we have to change our focus to Jesus, to sharing Jesus. That's what we have to do. That's how we make our friendships. That's how we engage our community. And things like that just don't happen by accident. You just don't stumble into a community like that. That is a community that is created purposefully, intentionally, to do that one thing, to serve the community where God has planted that church. That's a community that I could say, count me into a community like that. Count me into a church that wants to do those kinds of things, that wants to witness Jesus Christ, to share Him wherever they go, and whatever they're doing, to make Him the central focus. And why would we do that? Why would we want to share Jesus? Why would we want to go out and serve our community and do anything? Because it's our response of what Jesus has done for us. It's our response to the gospel. It's a response to the grace that He has shown us, to the mercy that He has shown us, to the things where He said, I have died on the cross for you. I died to take away your sin. I went there and shed my blood, which will change you, to transform you into the likeness of me. I'm going to die. But in just a few short days, just 3 days, I will be resurrected from the grave to show you what new life really is, so that you can really, truly live life to the fullest. That you can be part of my family of believers, my sons and daughters. That you can be that community filled with faith, filled with the Spirit, filled to go out, ready to serve. And I thought, wow, that's a community I want to be part of. That's something that I have to be part of. And I do it because because I want to, or because I have to. I do it because it's my response to the grace of what God has shown me, what Jesus has shown me. And that's what we all do. We respond to His grace. And He moves us by His Spirit to say, this is where you got to go. This is where you have to serve. It might be just one community away from changing the course of your destiny. And it might be just one community away from changing the course of somebody else's destiny. So what are some of the qualities that you could find in a great Christian community? And I'm going to give you 3 of them, and these are going to sound kind of weird. They're going to sound kind of strange. So here's the first one. We have refrigerator rights. I told you it would be weird. I told you it would be strange. But this is something that I never saw this before until I came to the Concordia Seminary campus there in St. Louis. And it goes like this. Whatever that I have is yours. Whatever that you have is mine. Since we're a family, I don't have to ask for it. I can just come in and take it. In other words, I can come into your house. I don't even have to knock on the door. I can just open up the refrigerator and take whatever I want out of the refrigerator and walk right back out. I don't have to say a word. The kids love this at the Concordia Seminary campus. They would actually come into people's apartments, open the door without knocking, just open the refrigerator and take whatever they want, and then go back out playing. The kids caught it. And that sounds strange to us, but to a first century Christian, that's normal. Go to Acts chapter 2 2 at verse 44. It says, all the believers were together and they had everything in common. They shared everything. Everything was held in common. What's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. It was quite a reflection. It's quite a unique. That's something that is quite exciting when you can see that kind of experience in little kids. But how about adults? How many of you can say you have friendships that have refrigerator rights? Or put it another way, maybe I should say, how many of us have refrigerator rights in somebody else's refrigerator? Just think about it. And then there's the second characteristic. That we all have flawed feet. Some of our feet, or of us, have more flawed feet than others, but we have flawed feet. We really do. And in Romans chapter 15 at verse 7, it says, to accept one another, then just as Christ accepted you, in order to bring praise to God. So in other words, we have flaws. I have flaws. You have flaws. We all have flaws. But when we accept one another, when we bring in one another and say, I can accept you for your flaws, then we're actually bringing praise to God. We're bringing glory and praise to Him. I can't tell you the number of times that people have come up to me and said, Pastor, I am so upset with this person. You should hear what they said. They said so many hurtful things to me. And I can say, flawed feet. Or we get on each other's nerves. And we really get in each other's faces. And we'll sit there and say, you should be ashamed to call yourself a husband. You should be ashamed to call yourself a wife. You think you're a parent? That's not even a good parenting. It's flawed feet. That's what it is. It's flawed feet. But it's when we come into that community and we say, I can forgive you. And I can accept you with those flaws because I see that Christ is changing you. He's working from the inside out to change you to be more like Him. Then others see that. And it's very attractive. Very, very attractive. People will see it now and they'll say, I want what you have. And we can accept one another's flaws and all. That's really saying that's community. I'd say count into that kind of community. I don't know about you, but I got a lot of flaws. I got a lot of flawed feet, and I need that kind of community to be accepted in. And when we do that, we're doing what? Just bringing praise to God. That's all we're doing in there when we apologize. And if you want to know, I was thinking about flawed feet, and I said, there's flawed feet in Scripture. And that flawed feet results, and I'll have to say it this way, 2 Samuel chapter 9 at verse 13. And Mephibosheth, that's a mouthful, isn't it? He lived in Jerusalem because he was always ate at the king's table. He was lame in both feet. Mephibosheth, if you remember, is the son of Jonathan, King David's friendship, who came and helped him to find spiritual strength in the Lord. But because Jonathan had flawed feet, the society said, we don't want you. You're on your own. But the King David, had mercy on him. Because of that friendship, he brought him to his table to eat there. He showed him kindness. And it transformed him. Because he brought him into the community. And that's what can happen to us when we realize that it's our King Jesus who comes and takes us. Just as we are, flawed feet, all of our flaws, everything that we have, it says, come and sit at my table. I'm going to take you just like you are, because as I slowly change you over time, you can't change any faster than I'm going to change you. But I'm going to invite you to come and sit at my table. At the feast of the Lamb in His kingdom, which has no end, and you're going to see this great banquet, and I'm going to prepare it right in the midst of your enemies. For one purpose. So that you can invite your enemies to come to the table to eat with you and share that meal, and you can have that reconciliation so that you can be friendships once again and have a community once again and have that community and friendships last forever. That's what it's all about. Sharing Jesus. Forgiveness. Flaws and all. And then there's the third. I told you this was weird. We fight lions. That's what we do. We fight lions. That's what we're doing. We're fighting lions. 1 From 1 Peter chapter 5 at verse 8, it says, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour." Satan is real. The devil is real. He wants to find each and every one of us. He wants to find me. He wants to hurt us. He wants to destroy us. He wants to do anything he can to prevent us from sharing Jesus, from being a community, from being and creating and having the Spirit go out to create faith, to have more believers, more followers in Jesus. We are fighting lions. It works really simple. Take a look at the animal kingdom. When you're in a pack, when you're in a flock, when you're in a herd, when the predators come, what do? They try to single one out. Just one. They want the one animal alone, vulnerable. Then they can bring them down and they can attack and devour that one. That's what they do. And water buffalo are a good example of that. I mean, they're big animals. They have horns that are huge. They're kind of intimidating. But when there's just one, he's all alone, he's easy prey. But there's a unique thing about water buffaloes. They stick together. Even though that one is off eating by itself, when it gets in trouble, the rest of the herd comes and follows in and protects that animal. Stands up for that animal and says, "I got your back." If water buffalo can do that, why can't God's church do that? Why can't this church do that? Why can't we be God's people in community and do that together and live life together and say, I see you have cancer. I'm not going to just come and pray for you, but I'm going to pray with you. I'm going to strengthen you by the Spirit of the Lord. With His words, we're going to find strength in the Lord, and we're going to do that together. I got your back. You got mine. Yeah, I see the cancer is there, and the treatments are there, and the bills are just mounting up. You're struggling financially. Let us come together in community and try to help you with those bills. May not cover them all, cover some. Take some of the pressure off because we're in community. We're holding things in common. I want to open my home to you. I need you to come out there. You need to know about Jesus. You need to share. That's the kind of community. That's a kind of church that sticks together. It says, "I got your back no matter what." Whether you're flawed or maybe you have more flaws than somebody else, but we come together. We love one another, and when we do that, when we can accept one another, when we can love one another, others will see that and they'll want what we have. And then everyone will know that you are my disciples if you just love one another. Love is the key. An all-accepting love. That's a community that can say, "Count me in." Count me into that kind of community that wants to love one another, to accept one another, to be open, to be honest, to be truthful with one another, to be vulnerable, that just wants to go out and share Jesus, respond to His gospel, a gospel of grace, serve